Now we're going to be looking on the effect this divorce rate has on the kids.
Yo!
Remember, these kids, children are part of the union. Unless maybe the marriage didn't produce any kids, then that means nobody's going to be talking about them. But in the case where this marriage produced not just one child, it produced children, it would have an effect on them. So we're going to look at this effect that this divorce rate has on the children. So I still have with me Mr. Prince that one too for us to talk more on that. So uh, welcome back, Mr.
Thank you.
Prince. Okay,
It's my
so
pleasure.
kids are a blessing to marriage.
Yes.
Kids are the fruits that God uses to bless a marriage, to keep the home running around. Despite they'll be shouting, the more shouting, these children want to kill me. They're not staying in one place. They're scattering the whole stuff. They're still a blessing.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who are married and they are praying, going from one ministry to the other for kids. So now these kids are in this home. So let's talk on these divorce rates and the effect it has on them. The effects are so numerous.
Yeah.
It can be mental, the effects can be mental, it can be physical, it can be spiritual, it can be social. There's so many effects. There might be a positive effect as well. No one knows. But let's look at the effect that this divorce rate has on these kids. So what about kids? What will you say of kids who are from divorced homes?
You see, the effects are actually numerous, but I think I'm going to talk about just three today. The first one is the introduction of destructive behavior. That is one of the effects.
Destructive behavior.
Destructive behavior.
That means becoming violent.
Becoming violent. Have you observed to see a lot in the community today? We have a lot of prostitutes, thieves.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
These are from homes that are broken homes.
Are they all from broken homes?
Of course, they are not from broken homes, but you see, a home that has a daddy and a mommy playing their role, raising these kids as instructed by the word. It's a train up a child in the way he should go, and when he goes, he will not depart from that way.
Yes.
So when you have such homes, you will realize that all these, what do you call it, vices, right?
Yes.
You wouldn't have them in a society.
Oh.
So when you find a society where you find all these criminalities, check, you will realize that yes, that home was broken, or the father was supposed to play a responsibility, or the mother who was supposed to play a responsibility wasn't playing his or her responsibility.
I was about to say that because I've seen so many people that are from homes that the father and the mother, they are still together, but you still see them moving around doing all sorts of evil or that. So I was about telling you, so does it mean that they're from broken homes? They're not from broken homes. They still have their parents with them, but they're living this kind of life.
Of course,
Okay.
of course, we have them, but you see,
The majority of them are from homes that the parents are irresponsible.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct, and broken homes.
All right. So go on.
And also, you see, we also have the loss of faith in the marriage institution. That's one of the effects. Imagine a child who grows up without a father or a mother and somehow finds his or herself in a relationship. You
Yes.
understand? And he looks at it, oh, I want to go into this relationship, I want to have it a success, but I just remember the kind of life my mom lived, my mom or my dad lived.
My dad lived. My mom was wayward.
My mom was wayward, or I was not brought up well, or this happened. You understand? So what is marriage all about? If this happened to my parents, so what is the benefit of getting married?
Yes. What you just said is true because I remember an adage just said, one father is better than a 100 headmaster.
That's correct.
That means if
That's correct.
somebody has a father, the principles, the rules, the discipline they're going to give them, they're going to give their kids is far better than when you have 100 headmaster that are flogging you every day.
That's correct.
And someone also said, if all the women had a fatherly figure in their life, that the rate of prostitution, the rate of some bad characters will reduce in the society. But because of these women, they have a man, a fatherly figure, to teach them the principles of life,
Yes.
to teach them about being disciplined. There was no man, so that's why you see them, they live anyhow, they behave anyhow, they talk to a man anyhow, they run to a man because the father who should have told them, look at the right way to go,
Mhm.
wasn't there to teach them.
That is correct. That is correct. Look at it this way. He says, the psalmist says, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
Okay.
Now, what does the shepherd do? He guides his sheep. One time in Matthew, the Bible records that Jesus Christ was compassionate about the people because he looked at them. He saw them as sheep. He saw them as sheep without shepherd. It's important for the guidance of a daddy. It's important for the guidance of a mentor to guide you, to instruct you on the path to go. That is how you have meaningful people in the society. That is how you have great personalities in the society. So it's very important, you see. So when we have people, someone who can raise you, can mentor you, can talk to you, you realize that you have a great life. It's very important.
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
important.
Yes. And when you have your parents all together in the house, a child who was brought up with the parents both living together, they are both responsible. They act differently from the ones that their parents were irresponsible or they are divorced.
That is correct.
I once worked in a place that had a senior colleague. She was still staying with her parents. She doesn't stay outside 8 o'clock. She's not grown, she's an adult, but that principle the parents train them up with, it should remain in her even in adulthood.
You can
Even
imagine
though
that.
she has the right to still stay out late, but that instills discipline in her. That wherever she is, whatever thing she's doing,
Interesting.
she must be at home by
Interesting.
8 o'clock.
Interesting.
But those who don't have anyone to tell them that, they come back home, and maybe that 8 o'clock will be the morning of their life.
Correct.
That's the morning, that's the time they are going, and not as though they have a professional work, maybe a nurse or you're a doctor that takes you away from the house by night. No, they're not doing that kind of professional work, but this is their lifestyle. It has now become a lifestyle that is a normal thing to do. So these are what divorce, these are what irresponsibility can cause in the life of these children.
That is correct.
And when you mentioned about destructive behavior, I have seen people that they saw their father beat up their mom. They saw their father, their mom also fight their dad.
Beautiful.
So there's a normal thing. If you guys are arguing and they don't fight you, the lady they don't fight you, they don't insult you, just know that argument is yet to heat up, because it's a normal way of life. They saw their parents do this, and they think it is a normal way, and our society is bleeding. Remember that. I say that a child, a leader of tomorrow, was once a toddler in a home.
Wow.
Because the leaders of tomorrow, the leaders that we have here, they're all from families.
That is correct.
They were all once a child. And most of them, the characters, you see them as a bit corruption up and down. This person is not sincere. I make this. They were kids from a home, and maybe they weren't brought up properly. Even some of them that were being brought up properly, but society is teaching them. But if you have, even the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. If they had a solid upbringing, it will maintain in them even in old age.
Absolutely.
It will remain
Absolutely.
standing. So this
Absolutely.
destructive behavior is an effect that it has on the kids.
Yes.
So what more can you tell us?
The last point I want to talk about is health problems.
Oh wow,
They develop health problems.
really?
Yes, they develop health problems. You see, you have to understand that when we talk about, destructive behavior streams from the emotional part where was not cultured. When we talk about health problems, think about a child who just, the thought comes into his heart of, not having, oh, where's my mommy? If my mommy or my daddy was here, I would have gotten this need met. If my daddy
Yes.
was here, this would have happened. And the next thing, the pains in their heart, the frustration, before you know, they get sicky. Because the pains in their heart, seeing other kids have daddies, seeing other kids run around their daddies, run around their mommies, play around their mommies, you understand?
Yes.
That creates a sicky life. You see them get sick. So it affects them health. You see a child getting sick, you're like, oh, what could be the cause? This could also be also the cause.
It's not really about, it's not everything that is malaria.
It's not
In our present
malaria.
world,
It's not everything that is
everything that is malaria, headache,
or
oh, it's
fever.
malaria.
Yes.
It's fever.
Yes, it's not
This
everything.
might be something that has accumulated
It
over
has
time.
accumulated
Over time.
over time. It
And
has
this can also
accumulated.
create an inferiority complex in the life of kids,
Yes.
or bullying. I also say I once saw somebody that bullying is not necessarily caused by somebody, a child who is chubby, who has much fat on his
Yeah,
body.
bullying comes into
A skinny child can be a bully. A
Yes.
child who is skinny can be a bully.
Yes.
The bullying might not be with the physical hands, hence the bullying can be with the words they sow, the words they tell you, they throw at each other. That can be bullying. And this child, they have mastered the art of words. They've seen their mother engage in war battle with their father, and they've picked up that role. And this goes ahead, they bully children. And most of them, when they can't handle this inferiority complex, either when they can't handle this, it's either they become inferior or they become a bully.
Yes. Yes.
Inferiority complex in the sense that they are not open to the society, they are withdrawn from the society. It has a long way to go in their mental health. Maybe
does.
one of a child is in school, and at the end of the school, at the close of the school, his parents normally come to pick them up, but now they don't come. They are left to go home by themselves, or a driver or somebody else to come and pick them. And but they see other kids, their parents come and they are all jumping happily. It has a mental way that it drains them.
It does.
They may not open up to tell the parents.
Yes.
Especially and then where it becomes worse is if the parents involved are not sensitive
Yes.
to know that this my child is now behaving in a certain way, and they seek to know what it is.
Correct.
You understand? That is why it becomes so dreadful that this child, it accumulates over time. They become withdrawn. They become.
You get a child. You see a child keeping quiet, always quiet, left to
Yes.
himself or left to herself.
Yes, it can affect them academically.
And yes, it can.
Yeah, you think your child is a dull brain. The child is not a dull brain, but because of the activities happening in the home, they can't face it out. They don't know why this is happening to them at this young age. Their parents are no longer together. They want to see their father. They want to see their mother. Their mother is not at home. So this has a great effect on kids.
It does a lot.
Not just the husband and the wife involved, but the children. It does. Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Prince. Or do you have more things to say about this effect on these kids?
So I believe if the society can note this, that this is the challenge, and of course they know they can note this and do something about it. We will have a healthy and
peaceful environment, and also the kids. Maybe the deed has been done, like you said, and they are all grown up now, and they've realized that this path their parents went through is not the right path. They still have time to make a U-turn.
Absolutely.
They still have time to correct the wrong that their parents did.
And took the right step.
So that means they can still seek for the help of a counselor.
That is
They
correct.
can still talk about, not talking about it to everybody that you mean, talking
No.
about it to someone who can actually help them
That is
out
correct.
from this.
Correct.
Than dying in need, than still acting like their parents and still bleeding on their kids and still watching their kids. Still, because this thing tends to be like a generational cause. You think it's a generational cause, but these are simple principles.
They are simple principles.
It's not a cause. It's not something that is spiritual.
It's not.
You see a lineage of divorce rates happening because
Again and
these weren't being corrected, and the kids are passing it over to the next generation, and it keeps going on and on. So thank you so much, Mr. Prince Awad. That was a lovely one. We seen marriage from the perspective of God's word. So stay tuned, and we have lots and lots more of package to let you know on this divorce rate, the causes of it, and the effect it can have on kids. It has a lot of hits. If you look at our society, if you can be sincere enough to see a child from a broken home, get to talk to them. Get to ask them how do they feel about their parents being separated. They will tell you a whole lot. They will tell you the pains they've passed through, not seeing their daddy and their mommy together. There are a whole lot of things they would say, and maybe most of them are not vocal to voice out. They die in silence. They keep it to themselves. They develop health issues. Some of them develop heart attacks. Different ML that the devil will heap up on and escalate it to something else. So thank you very much, and stay tuned to this channel. I really appreciate for you watching, and thank you.